There are moments in life when the air itself seems to thicken, as though creation is holding its breath. The sun sets, shadows stretch long, and within the quiet you sense a stirring that words can scarcely capture. Tonight is such a moment, not because the stars will burn brighter, nor because the winds will blow louder, but because something massive, something greater than our own small schemes, is drawing near. What is coming is not noise, but depth, not spectacle, but substance. It does not arrive with a parade of trumpets, but with a whisper strong enough to shake the foundations of your heart. Many spend their days looking outward for signs, hoping for fire in the sky or a tremor beneath the earth. Yet the truest upheavals are born within the unseen revolutions of the soul. Think of it, the greatest shifts in history, the turning of ages, the rising of dawns, all have come not when the world shouted, but when the world grew still. Tonight is such stillness, and in that stillness you are invited not merely to observe, but to prepare. For what comes next will not ask whether you are ready, it will simply arrive. Preparation is not gathering possessions or rehearsing speeches. It is the readiness of the heart. It is setting aside the distractions that keep you small, the excuses that chain you to mediocrity, the fears that whisper you were never meant for more. Something massive is coming, yes, but it will pass you by unless your soul is awake enough to see it, alive enough to welcome it. Imagine a traveler waiting by the shore. The tide rises, the ship approaches, sails heavy with promise. If he slumbers, he misses it. If he hesitates, the vessel is gone. But if he stands with lantern lit, eyes fixed on the horizon, he steps into a story far larger than his own. That traveler is you. The shore is tonight. The ship, well, that is what you must be ready to meet. So prepare, not with anxious hands, but with a quiet strength, not with dread, but with hope, for what is coming is vast, but it is not against you. It is for you. It is a door opening, a curtain being drawn back, a chapter written in ink too bold to be erased. Tonight, something massive is coming, and when it does, may you not be found sleeping, nor shrinking, nor clinging to yesterday's ashes. May you be found ready, awake, and unafraid. The greatest upheavals begin in the stillness, not in the noise. The greatest upheavals begin in the stillness, not in the noise. It is a paradox of life that what seems quiet to the world is often thunder to the soul. We live in an age where we are taught to measure greatness by volume, by how loud something is, how brightly it shines, or how much attention it commands. Yet true transformation does not shout, it whispers. The moments that alter history rarely arrive with trumpets. They come with silence, when the world seems to sleep, and a deeper hand is at work. Think of the turning of seasons. No trumpet calls the winter to depart, or the spring to rise. It happens in stillness, leaf by leaf, bud by bud, until the entire landscape is changed. Such is the way of every great upheaval that truly matters. Noise may impress, but it does not endure. Noise is the fireworks that burst and vanish, leaving only smoke in the sky. Stillness, however, is the seed beneath the soil, hidden, unseen, working silently until one day it breaks through as a tree mighty enough to outlive centuries. The upheavals that shape destinies are born in secret places, where the heart wrestles with itself, where unseen choices are made, where character is forged in the fire of solitude. It is not the storm outside that truly shakes a man, but the storm within that demands he rise or remain fallen. Many fear stillness, because in the quiet all masks fall away. Without the distraction of noise, you are faced with yourself, your truth, your fears, your unspoken longings. And yet, that very confrontation is the soil where transformation begins. History remembers battles and crowns, but it is built upon unseen midnights, when someone in silence decided to endure, to hope, to believe. The world's noise can only echo for a while, but the quiet choices of the heart ripple into eternity. Think of the moments before dawn. The earth is hushed, the air is cool, the world still rests in shadows. Yet beneath that veil, creation is preparing. The sun is not yet visible, but its light is pressing forward, inevitable. The birds have not yet sung, but their song is rehearsed in their breath. The most massive change, the arrival of day, is birthed in stillness, not in sound. So it is with every upheaval that truly matters in our lives. The external noise may fool us into thinking that is where power lies, but the unseen stillness is where everything begins. Those who learn to listen to the quiet are never surprised when change comes. They feel the tremors long before the crowd hears them, because they have trained their hearts to sense the weight of what is forming in silence. They do not chase noise, for they know noise is fleeting. They wait for stillness, for in stillness is the seed of what will shake the earth. The greatest upheavals begin in the stillness, not in the noise. It is a paradox of life that what seems quiet to the world is often thunder to the soul. We live in an age where we are taught to measure greatness by volume, by how loud something is, how brightly it shines, or how much attention it commands. Yet true transformation does not shout, it whispers. The moments that alter history rarely arrive with trumpets. They come with silence, when the world seems to sleep and a deeper hand is at work. Think of the turning of seasons. No trumpet calls the winter to depart or the spring to rise. It happens in stillness, leaf by leaf, bud by bud, until the entire landscape is changed. Such is the way of every great upheaval that truly matters. Noise may impress, but it does not endure. Noise is the fireworks that burst and vanish, leaving only smoke in the sky. Stillness, however, is the seed beneath the soil, hidden, unseen, working silently until one day it breaks through as a tree mighty enough to outlive centuries. The upheavals that shape destinies are born in secret places, where the heart wrestles with itself, where unseen choices are made, where character is forged in the fire of solitude. It is not the storm outside that truly shakes a man, but the storm within that demands he rise or remain fallen. Many fear stillness, because in the quiet all masks fall away. Without the distraction of noise, you are faced with yourself, your truth, your fears, your unspoken longings. And yet, that very confrontation is the soil where transformation begins. History remembers battles and crowns, but it is built upon unseen midnights, when someone in silence decided to endure, to hope, to believe. The world's noise can only echo for a while, but the quiet choices of the heart ripple into eternity. Think of the moments before dawn. The earth is hushed, the air is cool, the world still rests in shadows. Yet beneath that veil creation is preparing. The sun is not yet visible, but its light is pressing forward, inevitable. The birds have not yet sung, but their song is rehearsed in their breath. The most massive change, the arrival of day, is birthed in stillness, not in sound. So it is with every upheaval that truly matters in our lives. The external noise may fool us into thinking that is where power lies, but the unseen stillness is where everything begins. Those who learn to listen to the quiet are never surprised when change comes. They feel the tremors long before the crowd hears them, because they have trained their hearts to sense the weight of what is forming in silence. They do not chase noise, for they know noise is fleeting. They wait for stillness, for in stillness is the seed of what will shake the earth. Preparation is not about possessions, it is the readiness of the heart. Preparation is not about possessions, it is the readiness of the heart. So often we measure readiness by what we own, by what we can gather, by the resources stacked in our hands. We think that if we have enough strength, enough money, enough plans, then we are ready for what lies ahead. Yet, again and again, life proves that possessions can be stripped away in a moment, that plans can crumble in the face of the unexpected, and that strength of the body does not always equal strength of the soul. True preparation is not about what you carry in your pockets. It is about what you carry in your spirit. It is not the fullness of your hands, but the fullness of your heart that determines whether you are ready. When something massive comes, the heart that is ready does not tremble at uncertainty, because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. It is anchored in conviction, in faith, in courage that does not need the crutch of possessions to stand. Many who appear strong collapse when the winds change, for their strength was built on things outside of themselves. But those who have prepared their hearts endure, because their foundation is inward, unshaken by what is taken or given. Readiness of the heart is the art of standing firm when everything else moves, of believing when the evidence seems thin, of holding hope when the night grows darker. Possessions can deceive, for they create an illusion of control. A man surrounded by riches may believe he is secure, yet one turn of fate can leave him empty. But a man who has prepared his heart carries wealth that cannot be stolen. His courage, his patience, his trust, these are treasures no thief can touch, no storm can sweep away. To prepare in this way is to build an inner fortress, unseen by the world but stronger than stone. For when the massive moment arrives, it will not ask what you have, but who you are. It will not measure the weight of your possessions, but the weight of your character. Think of a seed lying in the soil. It holds no treasures that can be counted, no gold, no armor, no wealth, and yet within it lies a readiness greater than any possession. When the season turns, it rises, not because of what it owns, but because of what it is. Preparation is written into its nature. It has been shaped in stillness, nurtured in darkness, and when the moment comes, it answers without fear. So, too, must the heart be prepared, not by gathering outward trophies, but by cultivating inward strength. When the winds of change arrive, only the prepared heart can stand. Only the rooted spirit can rise. The readiness of the heart is what makes the difference between being crushed by what comes and being carried forward by it. Those who rely on possessions lose them and falter, but those whose preparation is inward face even the storm with steady eyes. For the massive moments of life will always ask for courage, not for riches, for steadfastness, not for comfort, for truth, not for trophies. And only the heart that has been readied in silence, in honesty, in trust, can answer that call without hesitation. Distractions, excuses, and fears must be set aside to witness what is coming. Distractions, excuses, and fears must be set aside to witness what is coming. The mind is a restless sea, forever tempted by waves of noise and glitter that promise importance but deliver emptiness. Distractions come clothed in urgency, pulling the heart toward 1,000 lesser things, while the greater thing slips quietly past unseen. Every age has been filled with distractions, but never as much as now, when countless voices compete for attention and the soul is fragmented by constant noise. To witness what is massive, what is truly significant, one must silence the lesser calls. The eyes cannot behold the horizon if they are forever fixed on the dust at one's feet. The heart cannot hear the deeper summons if it is busy answering every shallow echo. To set aside distraction is not an act of neglect. It is an act of vision, a choice to lift one's gaze above the immediate clamor to see what is eternal. Excuses, too, are chains that hold the spirit down. They sound reasonable, even protective, yet they are woven of fear and resignation. Excuses whisper that tomorrow will be a better time, that readiness is always just beyond the horizon, that one more day of delay will do no harm. But excuses accumulate like stones in a pocket, weighing down the traveler until he cannot walk when the appointed hour arrives. The great opportunities of life are lost not because they failed to appear, but because excuses blinded the heart from seeing them. A man may stand at the very doorway of destiny and still turn away, all because the soft, familiar voice of excuses convinced him it was safer to stay behind. To cast away excuses is to declare that fear will not decide, that hesitation will not govern, and that the massive arrival will not pass unnoticed. Fear itself is the root of both distraction and excuse. It is fear that drives the heart to busy itself with lesser things, so that it need not face the greater challenge. It is fear that whispers every excuse, wrapping chains around the will until courage is smothered. Fear tells us that the coming change is too great, too dangerous, too costly, but fear forgets that what is coming does not ask for permission, it arrives regardless. To meet it with fear is to be overwhelmed, but to meet it with courage is to be transformed. The massive thing ahead cannot be avoided, but it can be embraced by those who have set aside their fear. Courage is not the absence of trembling, it is the refusal to bow to it. When fear loses its grip, the eyes clear, and the heart sees what it once missed. The one who wishes to truly witness what is coming must therefore step beyond the trifles of distraction, tear away the garments of excuse, and stand unafraid before the vastness that approaches. It is in such uncluttered vision that clarity is born, and in such courage that readiness takes root. For the arrival of the massive is not given to the half-hearted, nor revealed to the distracted, nor entrusted to the excuse-maker. It is seen only by those who have stilled the noise within, cast away the chains of delay, and chosen to stand with unclouded eyes, ready to behold the immensity that others will miss. Opportunity arrives like a ship at shore. You must be awake to board it. Opportunity arrives like a ship at shore. You must be awake to board it. The tides of life do not wait for the slumbering or the hesitant. They come and go with a rhythm older than our memory. Each opportunity is like a vessel appearing on the horizon, sails stretched wide by unseen winds, carrying with it the promise of a journey beyond what we have known. Yet the ship does not linger forever at the harbor. It arrives, it beckons, and then it departs. To be awake is to be watchful, to sense the subtle shifting of the tide, to recognize that the moment to act is brief, and that hesitation can cost more than failure ever could. Many miss their chance not because the opportunity never came, but because they were not prepared to see it when it arrived. They were distracted or doubting or lost in the illusion that the ship would circle back endlessly. Waiting for them to be awake is not simply to have open eyes, it is to have a ready spirit. One can see a ship and still fail to recognize its significance. One can hear the creak of its timbers and still ignore its call. Awakening is a matter of attention, of discernment, of valuing what truly matters above the comforts of sleep. The sleeper clings to the familiar warmth of the shore, convincing himself that it is safer to stay than to step aboard into the unknown. But safety is only an illusion, for the tides never stop moving, and what is called safe today may be washed away tomorrow. To remain asleep is not to preserve life, but to forfeit it. The awake soul understands that risk is the price of growth, that stepping into uncertainty is the very act that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. The image of the ship is also the image of timing. A harbor may stand forever, but no single vessel remains at its docks for eternity. There is a window, a moment when the gangplank is lowered, when the sails are waiting, when the journey is possible. Miss that window, and the horizon carries it away. Life is marked by such windows. Opportunities that arrive, linger for a breath, and then are gone. To awaken is to be ready when the moment comes, to act without drowning in hesitation, to step forward with the courage that knows the chance will not return in the same way again. The one who sleeps waits for a perfect moment, never realizing that the perfect moment is the one that is already here. Yet the ship is not only a chance for departure, it is a summons to trust. Its destination may not be visible, its path may stretch into waters uncharted, and its promise may demand a surrender of the familiar shore. This is why awakening requires courage. The one who boards must trust that the winds carry him towards something greater, that the journey itself will shape him into someone new. The opportunity is not merely about reaching a destination, but about becoming in the process of traveling. To board the ship is to choose growth over comfort, calling over complacency, vision over sleep. It is to say yes to the vast unknown, trusting that the unseen horizon holds more than the shore ever could. Thus, when the ship of opportunity draws near, the question is never whether it will come, but whether you will be awake enough to see it, bold enough to step aboard, and alive enough to embrace the journey it offers. The harbor may be familiar, but the sea is where transformation waits, and only the watchful heart can ever hope to sail upon it. What is coming is vast and unstoppable. Be found ready, awake, and unafraid. What is coming is vast and unstoppable. Be found ready, awake, and unafraid. There are forces in life greater than any single will, movements that surge like rivers after the rain, tides that cannot be commanded to pause or retreat. To pretend that such vastness can be resisted is folly. To deny its approach is blindness. The question has never been whether it will come, but how you will stand when it does. Some spend their days constructing fragile shelters out of comfort and denial, convincing themselves that if they hide long enough, the inevitable will pass them by. Yet the vast does not pass, it surrounds, it floods, it transforms everything in its path. To meet it cowering is to be swept away, but to meet it ready is to be carried forward by its power. Readiness in such a moment is not about control, but about alignment. You cannot halt the ocean, but you can ready your vessel to sail upon it. You cannot stop the wind, but you can set your sails to catch its force. To be ready is to stand in harmony with the movement, to have shed the weight of unnecessary burdens so that you are free to respond. Those who cling to the old, who grip tightly to what is slipping away, will find themselves dragged down. Those who stand prepared, awake to the magnitude of what is coming, discover that the very thing others fear is the current that carries them into new strength. Awakening is the second call. To sleep through the vast arrival is to miss it entirely. Life does not shout at the distracted or shake the dreamer awake. It simply continues moving, and when the vast and unstoppable sweeps past, those who were asleep awaken too late, left only with regret and the hollow ache of missed destiny. To be awake is to sense the shift in the air, to feel the weight of change pressing before it fully arrives, to know that this is the hour for watchfulness. It is the quiet attentiveness that keeps the lantern lit through the long night, so that when the horizon begins to glow, the eyes are not caught off guard. Awakening is vigilance not born of fear, but of reverence for the immensity of what approaches. To be unafraid is the third and hardest command. Fear rises naturally when the vast and unstoppable draws near. The unknown always trembles in the heart, for it demands the surrender of certainty, the letting go of control. But fear blinds, it paralyzes, it shrinks the soul at the very moment the soul is called to expand. To meet the unstoppable unafraid is not to pretend that danger does not exist, but to trust that you were made for more than safety. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear decide. When the vast comes crashing, the unafraid heart does not retreat. It stands, it opens, it welcomes the immensity as a gift rather than a threat. For what is vast does not come to crush the awake and ready. It comes to lift them beyond the limb. It's they once thought unshakable, thus the unstoppable approaches, not with permission sought, but with certainty of arrival. And in its coming, every heart must choose whether to shrink back or to rise. Readiness, wakefulness, and courage are the marks of those who are not overwhelmed but transformed, who do not drown but are carried into the deep. The vast is not against you, but it will not wait for you either. It comes as it will, sweeping through every hesitation, and it is only the ready, the awake, and the unafraid who will step into its power without being broken by its weight.